Emmanuel Amunike has scored for Nigeria. Goal that wins the first ever footballing gold medal for Nigeria.
Joshua, Vladimir Klitschko took it, but Joshua's got it.
To continue their impressive run to place Edo State in the continental map.
Toby Amazon, look at the clock. I cannot believe it. She's done it again. 2 world records in one night. And she makes history by becoming Nigeria's first world champion.
Alex Iwobi decides to go early. Chukwueze shapes the shoot, gets some space. It's Osimhen.
Yes, the yellow tide is finally upon us. Hopefully, it will be garnished with plenty of excitement at the Africa Cup of Nations come the 24th of this month. All road leads to Morocco for the 35th edition of the tournament. And in the course of the week, we saw a provisional list of the Super Eagles. We hope that Coach Eric Churl is truly in charge of the team as far as selection is concerned. I must tell you, preparations have also intensified from the respective participating teams, and we hope the Super Eagles would be able to at least make up for not qualifying for the FIFA World Cup. And we also saw one man has thrown the towel as far as international football is concerned. The captain of the Super Eagles, William Paul Troost-Ekong, this tells you that vacancy is now up for grab as far as who now captains the team going forward. He has served Nigeria, and today on the show, we'll be looking at his legendary status as far as donning the green and white colors is concerned. Today on the show, we also have an ex-international, one who played for Nigeria at some point, is joining us to look at a build-up to the AFCON, especially from the Nigerian state, as we begin to look at some of the systemics and what Nigeria must do to ensure that our flag truly soars at the tournament. I'm not alone. I told you the top guys are also back in the studio. The big man himself, Tony Ubani. Not to forget, Raymond Akparere. Expect him to say it just the way it should be said. At the other side, we say proper. Yes, welcome guys. The show is the Sportsville. I told you the guys are also back for today's package of the show. Let's get to meet Tony Ubani.
Yeah, thank you so much, Matthew. And of course, thank you to our esteemed viewers. Indeed, we are just gradually, getting to Morocco, and almost everybody just expecting, to see the kickoff of the AFCON. But then there are a lot of question marks on the Nigerian team, Matthew.
And on that note, we also make welcome Raymond Akparere.
Yeah, good to be here for Sportsville. You can't be sure we say the way it should be said, except that I'm not really excited about this Africa Cup of Nations. Way back, Libya 82, I remember the interest I had. Of course, that was after Nigeria won 1980. 1984, 1994, till the last AFCON in Cote d'Ivoire, I know the excitement on me. But this time around, for the first time in my life, I'm not expecting anything from the Super Eagles. I hope the story will be different in Morocco.
We just hope so. And let's also make welcome one who played for Nigeria at some point. He should be able to speak from a position of experience. Segun Oguns finally makes a return on the show. Segun, it feels great to have you back.
Good day, viewers. It's good to be here again. I know the expectation of Nigerians on the Super Eagles. Nigeria is a footballing nation, and we expect a good result all the time. Well, we have seen the list. We will talk about it in a short while. And it's also very good to know that the coach is claiming to be in charge, and nobody is interfering with his list, which is good.
Yes,
for me.
And we truly hope the coach is in charge as far as the list, the provisional list is concerned. Raymond, let's start with the captain of the team throwing in it so well. That news didn't come to some of us as a surprise because we've seen feelers of that a couple of weeks back, some persons speculations here and there. Finally, William Paul Troost-Ekong says goodbye to international football. He has served Nigeria from when he made his debut in 2015 till this day.
Yeah, good guy, William Troost-Ekong. He has served Nigeria well. I remember him for his loyalty. I remember him for his sweet talk. Very exciting captain, ever straight to the point. And, he gives one some tinge of some hope when it comes with the national team. Good talk, that's how I remember him. He's always commanding. The players respect him too. No controversy about him. But when, as a captain, when you are not made to sit on the bench, sometime you know that the things are not as it's supposed to be. So just good he has been able to call it a quit. And of course, I want to wish him a very, very good retirement from the international football of Matthew.
Yes, Tony Obani, let's look at the impact of William Paul Troost-Ekong, his service to Nigeria, to the Super Eagles, most importantly, his impact in this team and what he has left. Now there is a leadership vacuum in the Super Eagles.
Yeah, Matthew, I think that the Nigeria Football Federation and, of course, the Nigerian soccer fans should roll out the red carpet for William Troost-Ekong. He was a true legend. And, of course, he should be celebrated. A young man that was so committed, a young man that gave his all until the dying days of his career in the national team. We saw it all coming, Matthew, from the moment after the own goal against Bafana, things started to change. And of course, if you look at it, I think it got to a head, Matthew, when they went to Morocco for the playoff. And of course, as a captain, he showed the responsibility of telling the Nigeria Football Federation, you people are owing us. And if there is no pay, there will be no play.
Yes.
That was exactly where the whole thing, things, went awry for William Troost-Ekong. That's the sacrifice of leadership, Matthew. And I remember, because I had sources in the team who said that, of course, the Nigeria Football Federation officials were not happy that William Troost-Ekong was the one, that stood in and then telling the players that they must collect everything before they go. I think the guy has been sacrificed, which is not the right thing to do. I think that most times we should always remember, for all the good work that he has done. But even beyond that, I think that Troost-Ekong has equally noticed, that his playing days are gradually grinding, most especially when they begin to put a captain on the bench. That means your leadership is going slow. So for a very honorable man who saw all these things coming, I think that I doff my hat, and of course, I applaud him. He's a great man. For me, he's a legend, a true legend of the Super Eagles.
Interesting legacy as far as William Paul Troost-Ekong is concerned. Made over 80 appearances for the Eagles, scored 8 goals in over a decade. For a defender, you think is one that truly served the nation. Segun, let me come to you now. Let's talk about the vacant captaincy position. Yes, we have a Wilfred Ndidi, but for some Nigerians, it's time for a new leadership vigor in the team. Who takes the role of the captaincy in the Super Eagles? There are names being touted around. It's time for Osimhen to begin to captain the team going forward. Is it time for Osimhen to become the captain? Who takes the role of a William Troost-Ekong?
Well, captainship of a national team go beyond playing on the pitch.
Absolutely.
Tony spoke about leadership quality and control, respect from other players. From my experience, choosing a captain of the national team lies more on the coaches. I think Ekong has done very well. And he has left a legacy for those who are there to emulate him, his leadership. And maybe Ndidi, I don't know now the Ndidi. I know Ndidi of before. I don't know whether I'll be able to lead the team, but the coach should know better. The Super Eagles of today has no commanding figure of any player aside Ekong, who shows the Olise type of captainship, leadership. If you look at the Super Eagles of today, everybody play for himself. But if Ekong is there, you see control and command. You understand? I don't know who can take up that responsibility now in the national team. You have to be inside to know it. I wish them well. I'm not going to say Osimhen or no Osimhen, but for me, I can't make Osimhen my captain.
Very interesting from one who plays the game, ex-international Segun Ogun, saying it, that Osimhen won't captain his team as far as he's concerned. Is banging in the goals. We just hope that the gaffer would be able to sort this out. On the other side, we'll be looking at the build-up to the tournament proper, the AFCON. In the course of the week, we saw the provisional list for the Super Eagles, and some Nigerians are asking, why not list the players that will go make the tournament? Why the provisional list? The guys will be giving us their thoughts on the other side. Yes, you're welcome back. Interesting conversation in the studio, and it's all about William Paul Troost-Ekong as well as Nigeria's build-up to the Africa Cup of Nations. Segun Ogun, so let me still stay with you. There are talks out there, especially in the public space, that William Troost-Ekong has been forced out of not just the Super Eagles, but has been forced to resign from international football, going by the role he played in the players not training, asking for their old allowances and bonuses in the World Cup qualifiers. What do you make of this?
Well, let me be honest with you. He's a very clever young man. Even in his game, you can figure that out. The Nigerian Football Federation does not want challenges. If you look at our captains in the past, any of the captain that makes a point,
that is outspoken,
that has spoken, comes out with a fact, is tactically
pushed aside.
And you know, this young man didn't grow up in Nigeria. His mentality is not the same as a player who grew up in Nigeria. And I'm sure he must have sensed it. Not because he's not playing. In 2010, Kano was the captain. He wasn't playing all games. I don't think so. I think there are something we need to find out happens after that
incident.
Yeah, as I said earlier, I like the guts of William Troost-Ekong, a good talker. Olise, what's his name? Yobo and the group, Uncle. Those are the captains that have really impressed me. But definitely the same NFF, whatever decision they've taken, the same problems they've been giving to our football. Because there was no problem at all, we wouldn't have had all these reactions coming from our captain that we love his guts. And of course, it's encouraged. So what's going to happen to the NFF? They want to remain there and keep piling problems, pressure, and yet, we should see them as good boys. If Ekong is quitting, why has my call that the NFL board should be sacked long ago not be listened to? Because they come with all this confusion, and a good man like William Troost-Ekong is being consumed now. It's being consumed because of the ineffectiveness, the weakness of the NFF. These are the things we should really take a critical look at.
Very, very interesting. We just say all the best to William Paul Troost-Ekong, and for the NFF, it's time for them to truly make up for not securing a ticket for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Now let's head up straight to the build-up to the Africa Cup of Nations. We saw a provisional list from Eric Chell, and there have been questions. Why a provisional list with less than 3 weeks before hostilities gets on the way at the tournament proper? Tony Bani, a provisional list at this time, you're going to ask questions. Is Eric Chell truly in charge?
Matthew, I do not know why, in the Nigeria Football Federation or Nigeria, we always like walking backwards. At a time, that South Africa became the first to name the authentic list. The Pharaohs, Egypt did, Angola did, and the Indomitable Lions equally did. And of course, in Africa, when you are talking about top teams, Nigeria should be among them. If all these teams could just name their 28-man list, I do not know why Nigeria should carry the whole market, bringing all people, their relatives from all parts of the world, to fill into the team. I think it's a disgrace, it's a shame to us, because that is why. And of course, I do not believe that it is a Richel, that handled, that made all the inputs in assembling that market, because most of these players that are coming now, Matthew, Eric Chell is not going to see them before the team is trimmed down. And this is the Nigeria Football Federation that is crying, that is always going cap in hands. They do not have money. So where will they get the money in flying? Is it 54 or 55?
No,
54.
At least
54.
At least
54.
you don't expect that number to report to camp. Definitely the team will be trimmed down, maybe to 28.
They invited them to camp.
To 28 before they report to camp.
No.
Sure.
They invited them.
Sure.
The intention was for them, for all the 54 or 55, to come to camp. That they start trimming it down.
That will happen. Now, Tony, Raymond, let's look at those who will possibly make the team. Some persons will tell you the manager already knows it's 28 players that would be at the AFCON. So why this left and right?
You know my mind already. I've said it before, even though most of you did not agree with me. I think the NFF just believe that we don't have a proper team. Always call this team Victor Siemens Eagles. They've now realized that these players are not good enough. Even Sekou Shell, who's team to be swallowing everything, the NFF is giving to him, because after the Nations Cup, we're going to talk more about Sekou Shell. But apparently, there are many people dictating to him. The NFF is bringing some of these guys from nowhere, academy players, league players, even that Eric Sekou Shell does not know. But for me, if we had the time for a long-time plan, I don't mind, but we don't really have the time. But as I said, having followed the Eagles for some time now, I've enjoyed following the Eagles and how they prepare, how they play their matches, win or lose. But this Eagles team, perhaps because the NFF is confused over what they saw in Congo DR's game, they now encourage this market. Is it a Chanja market or Jibo market? You understand? They not brought.
I saw the likes of Francis. So
yeah,
I was looking out for your name.
Yeah, my name should have been there.
I was looking out for
you. Not good. We know the Super Eagles that we used to love. So I'm challenging them. They should go to Morocco and prove me wrong. I've said before that besides Victor Osimhen, I don't see a proper player or the Super Eagles there. So perhaps it's a chance for new faces to be seen. But I'm not happy to win or see Nigeria win the Nations Cup. Yeah. But most of these guys who were tossed left, right, center by DR Congo's team on the neutral ground in Rabat, the same thing that Benin beat in neutral Abidjan. I mean, these guys should hide themselves in shame. This is not our true Super Eagles squad.
Yes, Shagun, let's look at it this way. Let's look at the position of FIFA as far as the AFCON is concerned. Some persons will tell you that the AFCON over the years had been disrespected by the World Football Governing Body. FIFA has said clubs can hold on to their players until the 15th of this month. That is about 5-6 days to kick off of the AFCON. You begin to ask yourself, what exactly is the priority of African football, that is for Africans, and the position of FIFA in this whole position, in this whole stuff?
Well, don't blame FIFA. Blame CAF. Then blame the players and the associations. Because if you look at the discipline of African players, most of them, when they come for national assignment, they go back with injuries. And these clubs are the ones paying their wages. The clubs are making complaints. Even while I was there in the national team, clubs are complaining about African players coming back with injuries. And the problem they have is they are supposed to report to camp Monday or Tuesday. Some of them will leave their clubs after the game on Saturday. They'll be roaming about the street with women, taking alcohol. By the time they come to camp, you have only 4 or 5 training sections with them. And one small knock, they're out. What do you expect the clubs to do? We have not been able to manage ourselves properly or present ourselves properly as Africans, even our federations. You just spoke about a coach bringing 54 or 55 or 58 man list, and he has 3 weeks to work. Now, I will tell you something. Since after we lost to Congo, what was the coach doing? That's a big question you need to ask the federation and ask the coach. Because if the coach is at work, bring some home-based players together and be working, try to build a home-based team, you don't need all this crowd. You just need to weed some players out, maybe put 3 home base or 4 home base to join the team. NFF will not tell you no. But because since after that game, the coach also went to sleep.
But not only that, the possibility of players being pushed towards the coach by the same NFF.
That is normal.
We've seen them relate to academic players, unknown players.
It has always been like that.
Yeah.
I've submitted lists that was going to the Olympics, and they told me, go and tell Amadou, adjust the list. Look, our NFF don't care. If we're going with 28, they can tell the coach, go with 35. We'll pay for the cost of the rest.
See, Matthew, that's exactly why I think, and I agree with Raymond, the Nations Cup is a distraction. This Nations Cup that we're going to play in Morocco is a distraction to the growth of Nigerian football.
Wow.
Nigerian football, as Nigeria had been kicked out of the World Cup, I think it would have been a very fine setting for us to stay and then remold Nigerian football.
But nothing is happening.
Because honestly, why it is a distraction is that if we go to the Nations Cup and they begin to win and all those things, and perhaps even win the trophy, every other excuse, every other mistakes that we have noticed, all the incompetence, all the monies that were being owed to players, everything will be swept under the carpet. That to me is why this Nations Cup is a distraction.
Tony, that's one interesting conversation. We're still talking the Super Eagles and the road to the Africa Cup of Nations. On the other side, former Nigerian international Sam Soje would also be joining us. Stick around. Yes, welcome back. I must say, the guys are truly fired up. It's all about the Super Eagles and the build-up to the Africa Cup of Nations. At this time, we're now being joined by former Nigerian international Sam Soje. Sam, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes, Sam, let's start with Troost-Ekong. He says bye-bye to international football. And some persons are beginning to ask who takes over from him. Will it be Victor Osimhen, or which other players would be able to command the respect of the entire team going forward?
That question has got 2 answers. I can answer the question from being a fan and answer the question from being an ex-professional player. Being a fan, we wanted to go to the AFCON and do it after the AFCON. But being a professional player, ex-player, and no one tells you when to quit. And I think only a player knows when to call a time off. And I think he's got to that time. And I think he has earned himself so much respect to do that. So, yeah. You can't tell a professional player when to quit. I think a player like myself, everyone knows exactly when the body tells you to quit. So I think in his time, I think he thinks that this is the time for him to quit.
Yes, Sam, we saw the provisional lists are made available by the manager. Some persons are beginning to ask, so why invite 54 players with less than 3 weeks to kick off of the tournament?
Listen, I think your question already answered the question. 54-man list is a bit too much. I think he should go for like 30-man list in case someone gets injured. It shows to you, I'm talking from experience. It shows to you maybe he's not in control of what he's doing. But if he's in control, I think 54-man squad is a little bit too much when it's just 3 weeks to the tournament. So and there's no change at all. This is the time where we think we should be getting a new change. As a fan, I would love the national team to play in every tournament. I would love to watch the national team every time. But as a football man, I think the AFCON is a distraction to us. Our football right now is on the floor. It's so low, and the AFCON is definitely. I wish we didn't qualify. It's sad to say, but that's my point of view. But as a fan, we're in the AFCON now. We have to forget about what happened, not qualifying for the World Cup. We have to go there and give our best, and hopefully go a step further and win it, and win the tournaments.
FIFA said the European clubs can keep the players until the 15th of this month. That'll be less than 6 days or thereabouts for hostilities to get underway. You begin to ask yourself, where does this leave the respective teams and the time to truly blend before their first games?
Listen, wherever way you want someone to treat you, that's how they treat you. I think the CAF has already put themselves so low for FIFA to think they only need a player for 1 week. It's not right. It's disrespectful to the AFCON, to CAF. But that's where you need people who knows what they're doing in position, because it's nowhere close to enough for players to come and blend and play the AFCON. But at the same time, AFCON should be about Africa. So we are depending on the European league, and that's not right. So that's why it's affecting us, whatever FIFA does. The CAF should have their own rules and say, this is the time we need. But when you get people that, kissing the backside of FIFA, we've not got a right to do that. But to answer your question, it's definitely disrespect to CAF. And we've been trying our best to fight our best to make sure the world knows how important the AFCON is. And stuff like this has made the likes of Carragher back up his word by saying the AFCON is not important, because it's very important tournament when it comes to African players. So yeah, it's definitely disrespect to CAF and AFCON and Africa for FIFA to do that.
Yes, former Nigerian international Sam Soje, always a delight to have you join us on the show. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Matthew, for having me. Thank you very much.
Raymond, a quick one. Sam Soje, putting it out there. You also talk of the timing of the tournament itself holding in December and the position of FIFA.
Well, this is not the first time we're having this kind of a problem having to do with the release of players and what have you. I remember some years ago, there were even plans, some suggestions. I remember the late Stephen Keshi, urging or wishing to be flown from Belgium to the Nations Cup in Morocco. Kalusha Boya, other key players of Nigeria, and of course, African teams. I think it's one matter that has been on for a long time. I don't know when both clubs and, of course, FIFA will reach a compromise, but definitely it's the countries that are really under most pressure as far as this arrangement is concerned. And for now, because I don't know if FIFA will change their mind on this, but definitely the coaches are crying loud, including our own coach, Eric Sekuchel.
Interesting. We hope that the guys will be able to turn things around and also give Nigerians something to truly cheer at the tournament proper. Yes, this is where we are on today's package of the show. It's been a delight having the guys once again in the studio. Tony, we are saying our byes.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to see Shego. I remember when we started, journalism new.
Yeah.
A reporter went to talk to Shego, thinking that he was late Peter Rufai.
Wow. It's a delight to really have him here.
Yes, that was when there was challenge in our national team. The late Rufai also told me that, oh boy, I can't joke with my number one shirt too, because these guys, they want to grab my shirt.
Wow.
One of those years again in our football.
And Shego, thank you for your time.
It's a pleasure, honestly. I'm happy to be here. After a long time, see Tony again, see Raymond with his changer.
Interesting. One has been from the guys. The conversation continues across all our social media platforms on your screen at this time. We keep talking sports 24/7. The yellow tide is finally upon us. Remember, it will be garnished with plenty of football with the Africa Cup of Nations. Let's continue to pray for peace in our nation and believe that will also bring about our greater successes in our respective families. I'm Matthew Kube. Bye for now.
Emmanuel Amunike has scored for Nigeria. Goal that wins the first ever footballing gold medal for Nigeria.
To continue their impressive run to place Edo State in the continental map.
Toby Amazon.